I had just taken my last order for the night. It was to an apartment complex that I drop off to frequently, so I knew it was a gated community. Usually, the customer will leave special instructions with the password to get in, or they'll just meet me at the gate. This time, I didn't receive anything, and upon arriving, there was nobody waiting for me. So I simply called the customer and told her I had arrived but I needed in. She told me she'd meet me at the gate and to just give her a minute. As I was waiting, I noticed a black Escalade pull up right behind me. I don't know if their brights were on, but their lights damn near blinded me. I also don't know why they pulled up right behind me. I was off to the right, so if any resident needed to get in, I wasn't blocking them. The next thing I know, someone is tapping on my driver's side window. It's a man. He's dressed in black sweatpants, black sweatshirt, and a black beanie. I roll down my window and ask if he needs something. He quickly replies back, asking if I'm the DoorDash driver. I tell him I am. Then he says he'll go ahead and take the order. Confused, I ask for the name on the order, and without hesitation, he says her name. I should also mention the way he says it, and the way he's just staring at me the whole time is extremely uncomfortable. As if I'm in the wrong for even questioning it. So I hand over the order, and he quickly heads back to the vehicle and leaves. I start to complete the transaction on my phone, when I notice something else. I look up and on the other side of the gate is a woman waving me down. Confusion strikes again and my heart starts to speed up. I get outside and meet her as the gate starts to open, and we just kind of look at each other for a few seconds. I probably sound ridiculous as I say, "So the guy in the Escalade already got your order for you." She just turned her head slightly and replied back, "What?" I repeat myself and explain to her the man that apparently hijacked her dinner. She has no clue who he is and starts questioning me on why I gave the order to him. I told her he knew her name. During her fit of rage, she tells me it doesn't matter if he knew her name. I didn't say anything to her and we canceled the order, but I believe him knowing her name did matter. In fact, I believe something else had taken place that night. I mean, it's already one thing that he knew her name, but how would he know that I was a DoorDash driver? I feel like this was some kind of scam that these two pulled off. So from now on, I only give the order directly to the customer who ordered it. I don't care if God himself says he'll make sure they get it. If this shit isn't straight out of a horror movie, I don't know what is. It was almost 1 in the morning. I was just about to head home when I got an order to a coffee shop down the road. When I arrived, the order was ready, considering it was only 2 donuts and a coffee. I left and headed towards the destination, which was only about 2 miles away. Now anybody who does this kind of delivery service probably knows that sometimes the address never gets pinged in the exact spot it's supposed to. That's what happened here. I turned on a street that looked like the beginning to a nice neighborhood, but the first building on the left was a church and a little bit of land before the houses. The ping for the address was in the open grass area, of course. I parked on the side of the street, pretty much in between the church and the first house. Then I went with what made more sense and walked towards the house. But from behind me, I heard someone call out to me. I turned around and could see someone poking their head out of the side door of the church, signaling for me to head that way. So I started walking towards the church, the whole time thinking to myself, who the heck is in a church this late? There was a long wooden ramp that led up to the side door. As I got right up to the door, the person that was holding it open had extended the door all the way out. I was not expecting to see what was in front of me. Just inside the church, right at the doorway, was about 10 people, all huddled around looking right at me. They didn't have any lights on, which made the situation 10 times creepier. I was expecting them all to start singing or some shit, but nobody said a word. So I finally said the customer's name, and an older lady in the middle, who was in a wheelchair, slowly said it was her. I handed her the coffee and bag of donuts while everybody else just stared me down. No thank you or anything, so I started walking back down the ramp. I was about halfway down when I heard the old woman's brittle voice yell out, "Excuse me, sir." I turned around and walked back up the ramp. When I got back to the door, she looked up at me and said, "The least you could have done was rolled the bag up all the way." I don't even fully understand what she meant by it, and to be honest, it was the first time I ever ignored a customer. No sorry, no nothing. I turned back around and got the hell out of there. So, this nightmare drop-off is the reason I quit DoorDash. I was delivering a pizza to a woman, and it was about 10 at night. I get to her house, and from the driveway, I can see her look through the large living room window. Cool, she knows I'm here. I get out and go up to the porch. She had a storm door, so I open it and then knock on the house door. The lady answers. I give her the pizza, she thanks me, perfect delivery. Now I'm still holding the storm door open, so when I go to leave, the storm door instantly starts swinging shut. My instinct is to grab the door handle before it slams shut and maybe cause damage. Apparently the lady thinks I'm trying to get in her house because I hear her overdramatically scream. The house door is still open and I can see her, so I point at the door and say, "I was just stopping the door from slamming shut." She starts yelling for someone's name who I'm guessing is her husband. Great. Seconds later, a man comes into view and I hear the woman going off about how I tried to get into the house. Meanwhile, I'm just standing in the driveway like, here we go. The man comes outside and surprisingly doesn't seem too angry. He asked me what was going on and I explained to him what happened, to which he understood. In fact, he said he always grabs the handle to stop the door from slamming. Too bad he didn't stop his wife from calling the police, because I swear a cop car pulled up and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. After talking to the cops and husband, they basically both laughed about the situation. The two cops even went and opened the storm door and let it swing shut, just to see their own reactions. I was free to go, but I definitely quit right after that. I hope other dashers have better luck, but I'm not doing favors for people who could care less. Pull up to the customer's house. It's dark outside, but their property is pretty well lit. I even see the customer open the front door, so I leave my car running as I quickly hand the customer his order. He ends up being one of those over-friendly guys that asks tons of questions, like how long I've been dashing, if I like it, if it pays well. I answer his questions nicely and tell him to have a good evening. Then I hurry back to my car, get in, and grab my phone to finish the final part of the order. Once I'm finished, I start driving down the street, but I slam on my brakes when I notice a dark figure in my rearview mirror. I jerk my head back and see a creepy-ass homeless-looking guy sitting in my back seat. Unclear of what his intentions are, I instantly yell out, "Get the fuck out of my car!" He leans in towards me, trying to explain that he needs a ride somewhere, as if it's completely normal to jump in someone's car and just wait for them to notice you. Again, I tell him to get out before I call the police. This time, he opens the back door, slams it shut, then runs off, heading towards the woods nearby. I force myself out of my car, shaking the jitters off and trying to recollect my thoughts. After getting back in my car, I look towards the area where the man ran off to. He's just standing in between two trees, looking in my direction, watching me. So I drive off and head straight home. I think I'll only be working the day shifts now. I had only been dashing for about a month and still trying to get used to the system. For some reason, I scheduled a 12 to 2 a.m. shift one night. I guess I was just wanting to get out of the house. Within that 2-hour period, I had one order come through, but it's one I'll never forget. The pickup was at a small foreign restaurant. In all honesty, I don't remember the ethnic type. What I do remember is the place was very quiet and I only seen one person at first. He was back in the kitchen area. When he noticed me, he nodded his head, so I just waved and smiled. As I was waiting around, I noticed two other men come from the back of the kitchen. They all three gathered around and was having some secretive conversation. Every once in a while, they would quickly look over at me, then back at each other. I didn't like the fact that they would laugh and smile every damn time. Situations like that are sketchy as hell when you're a skinny, defenseless woman, but I went against my better judgment and decided to wait it out. After about 10 minutes of standing around, I almost unassigned myself from the order until the man finally came up front with everything in a bag ready to go. Then he put one finger up as if he was letting me know it would be another minute. So I got my phone out and sent a text to the customer, letting them know I was about to be on my way. As soon as I sent the text, I heard a ding from back in the kitchen. One of the two suspicious guys from moments before began checking his phone. Paranoia was starting to hit me, but I tried to tell myself it was just a coincidence. I looked back down at my phone, and this time, I called the customer. Seconds later, the same man's phone started ringing. I swear, it felt like my heart dropped into my gut. The man didn't answer his phone. Instead, he looked right at me with that same creepy-ass smile they were all giving me earlier. I left the bag on the counter and busted through the door, then ran straight to my car. I don't know what would have happened if I would have actually delivered to the address, or who would have been waiting for me. I'm just glad I didn't go. I got a hold of customer care and told them my situation, but they didn't seem to care. They basically told me I was more paranoid than anything, and next time I need to complete my order. But they weren't in that situation. I was, and I honestly felt like something horrible was about to happen.